In 2019, investigative journalist Elias Cruz received an anonymous tip about a remote village in Mindoro that had mysteriously vanished overnight. No reports, no missing persons cases, just whispers of a place that no longer existed. Intrigued, Elias and his cameraman Marco set off on a journey to find the village. After hours of traveling through the dense jungle, they arrived at what should have been a thriving settlement, only to find charred ruins, overturned carts, and an unsettling silence. The village was empty. As they searched for clues, they found one survivor, an old woman named Lola Maring hiding in a cave. Her frail body was covered in strange markings, and her eyes held the terror of someone who had seen the impossible. "They took them," she whispered. "They always come back for more." When Elias pressed for answers, she spoke of an ancient entity known as Tagapuksa, the Eraser. Every 50 years, it claimed an entire village, erasing all traces of its existence. Those who tried to resist were marked, cursed to wander alone until the next cycle. Elias, a man of reason, dismissed it as folklore. But that night, the silence was shattered by distant wails echoing through the jungle. Their equipment malfunctioned. Cameras froze. Microphones picked up whispers in an unknown dialect. Then, Marco vanished. His camera was found lying in the dirt, still recording. There was no sign of a struggle. He was simply gone. Elias turned back to find Lola Maring, but she too had disappeared. In the dirt where she had been sitting, a single chilling message was carved. "You were never here." When Elias reported the incident, authorities dismissed it as a hoax. No records of the village existed. No missing persons reports. It was as if the entire place had never been there. A year later, Elias received a mysterious VHS tape with no return address. When he played it, Marco's final footage appeared. Only this time, the recording ended with something new. A shadowy figure loomed at the edge of the frame. A voice, deep and distorted, whispered, "Elias, we remember you." Then, the screen flickered, showing a video of Elias himself, standing in an unfamiliar street. The timestamp on the footage was tomorrow's date. His own voice, barely recognizable, whispered, "You were never here, but you will be soon." Terrified, Elias sought out Dr. Althea Ramirez, a historian specializing in lost settlements and ancient scripts. She studied the footage and noticed symbols carved into the trees around the village ruins. "These aren't just random markings," she explained. "They're part of an ancient seal meant to contain something." Over time, the symbols had faded, weakening the barrier. Determined to end the curse, Elias and Dr. Ramirez led a team back to the ruins. Using old texts and historical records, they restored the missing symbols, completing the ancient seal. As they carved the final mark, an unnatural wind howled through the trees and a deep, guttural growl echoed in the distance. Then, for the first time in a century, silence. The whispers stopped. The shadowed figures were never seen again. Elias documented everything and released the full story. While skeptics dismissed it as superstition, something had undeniably changed. No more disappearances were reported. The cursed ground, once feared for generations, was now at peace. Before leaving, Elias placed Marco's camera on the village ruins and whispered, "Case closed, my friend." As he walked away, the wind rustled the trees one last time, carrying a final whisper through the air, soft, distant, and fading. "Thank you. Case solved.